Hello and welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all of you are doing fantastic today. I've been thinking about adding a video element to this podcast, and just the more I think about it, and the more just like kind of goofy stuff that happens between the scenes of me like being able to cut out things, like I think this is just a video component would be pretty entertaining, I think. But anyway, that's just something that's down the line. I was on Instagram the other day, and there was I follow a lot of people that have like different fitness things and health things going on, and they had just done a 3-day water fast where the only thing they did for 3 days was drink water. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I got really pumped up about it. I don't know what happened, but inspiration hit me, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this 3-day fast. And I did all this research. I was looking at like just all this like the health benefits of fasting and just everything that comes from it. And I was like, wow, you know what, I'm gonna get going on this right like tomorrow. And guess what didn't happen? I did not fast, and it happened within the day. Like I don't know what happened. Like the gears had shifted pretty hardcore, and I guess I got hungry or something. But I started doing everything in my power to convince myself that fasting was a bad idea. I started searching like, why is fasting a bad idea? Yeah, there was just a lot of. I mean, I have zero regrets from that. So, I had avocado that were perfectly ripe, so I couldn't let those go bad either. So, there were a few good reasons that I had to not go on that fast. But I think that it's there's time and a place for things, and it wasn't the time or the place for that to happen. I've been I've been doing a bit more time management, and I think that's where like this inspiration hits, where like I've been trying to manage my time a lot more so I can fit more things in the day. And as I fit more things in the day, I realize I can fit so much more. So I'm just like trying to take on all these different challenges and things like that to kind of keep my day productive and dynamic. And I think that I think I kind of just like get overzealous in some ways and get a little too excited. But anyway, I'm going to go on this episode because there's this aspect of religion. I'm not really sure if this episode is actually going to be too long, because there's just religion is like it's a heavy topic, and it's so diverse, and I'm not sure who I'm speaking to as far as just diversity of different people with different backgrounds or religious beliefs or anything like that. So I like to kind of cover a different aspect of this idea of religion, and maybe it won't take that long to cover it. So anyway, I'm going to get with the box here. Thank you so much for all the topics that you're sending in. I love each and every one of them. Again, if you want to send any of those topics in, you can send those to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. Any topic is perfectly fine. Nothing is off limits. So yeah, this box, I think I have enough topics in for another year. Like not even like lying. There's only 52 weeks in a year, and if I do one episode per week, then I think that I actually have, with what's in the box and what's been coming in, I think I have enough for another year, which is kind of wild. So anyway, the the topic for next week is going to be community. And this is something, I think that this podcast, I feel I wanted to make this podcast based on the idea of community, where we can build a community on just speaking with each other. And I think that community is built when we have these conversations. We can build community through conversation, and that community is something where we can understand one another and be there for one another despite the differences that we have. That's what community is about. And I think that there's a lot to have with that topic. So community aspect for next week. The topic for next week is going to be community, and that's again, definitely love that. So thank you so much for sending that in. Again, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com, or any of the social media pages that I'm going to link at the end of this podcast. So today's topic is on religion, and this topic is something that it's very difficult. It's a very difficult topic. I was looking up different ways of trying to approach this. I usually, with most episodes where I don't get like a general direction from the person that's suggesting it, I have to kind of explore like what direction I'm going to go with it. So I usually like map out different versions of the episode, and there was an episode where I kind of mapped out that was like the main religions of the world and like how they are and like the backgrounds and stuff like that. But I was like, this isn't a lecture. This isn't something that I want to be just like a teaching lesson on religions, but what is at the basis of religion? And how can we have these conversations about religion and not be something that's so taboo or something that's so off limits? I'm not sure if any of you remember or listen to the episode when the politics topic was drawn, but I'm pretty sure I like completely just skipped over that topic. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do politics, but then in like the next episode or something, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do an episode on politics because politics on top of religion is something that is one of those topics, it's one of those conversations that you don't bring up at a dinner party, or you don't bring up in conversation because it's not really they usually turn into like heated arguments or something like that. And it's so unfortunate because there's so much beauty within religion, or just the different beliefs that people have, like whether you believe in religion or not, or whether you believe in science, I think that there's so much that can come from just understanding that we're all looking for very similar things when we try to just gain understanding. And I think that as we kind of gain more acceptance in the differences that we have as people, we can start coming together in these conversations and value what we have, value what we believe in, and value the fact that other people believe something different, and that's okay. We each go through our journey in trying to discover who we are and what we believe in our lives. And of course, a lot of our understanding and a lot of our beliefs come from our childhood and our parents or whoever raised us. But at the end of the day, there's a certain point where we get that choice to kind of start wondering what we feel for ourselves. And many times we kind of stick with the faith that we were raised in, but many times there are experiences in life and things that we go through that expands our understanding and maybe adds to the things that we believed. And it doesn't mean that we necessarily remove ourselves from a certain religion, but we can expand our understanding and value the differences in other people's understandings. I mean, just like thinking about my own journey through religion, I was raised Christian. I was baptized and everything, and there was a certain point when we were younger that my mom asked us, do you want to go to church anymore? Like, do you want to go to church this Sunday? And I remember like every Sunday we would go to church, and we would go to the afternoon service. Well, it would be like 11 p.m. I mean 11 a.m. And it would be kind of one of those situations where I'd wake up in the morning like 9 a.m., 10 whatever, like whatever time I woke up, and I'd be wide awake. But the moment I got into church and sat down, I'd fall asleep every single time. And I'm not sure if this was the same for anyone else, but I know I always fell asleep when I went to church. And I think that it wasn't that reason that my mom asked us that, but I think she realized that we were at an age where we started questioning things more. We started, wanting to discover for ourselves and kind of start exploring our own thoughts and our own feelings and our own like beliefs. And she understood that. She was like, if you want to go to church, I'll be happy to take you there and do that. But if you don't want to, then, I'm not going to force you to continue to do this. And of course, the fact that I always fell asleep when I went to church, I was like, yeah, I don't really think that I want to go to church anymore. And it wasn't anything like I was, distancing myself from, the Christian religion or anything like that, but it was more or less me just being a kid and not wanting to do that on a Sunday morning. And I think that as time went on and, I necessarily wasn't in the church, I did start to think other things and start to speak to other people about their different beliefs. And as I grew up, I did experience a lot of friends who described themselves as being atheists. And as I kind of spoke to more people, I realized there were a lot of people that believed that there was something more, believed that there was something out there. There had to be some kind of meaning for all of the things, or some kind of something for everything, but they just didn't know how to describe it and how to put it, or like what kind of name to put on it. So they didn't like ascribe to any particular belief. And I think that that's something that is, it's something that is to be valued. I remember thinking when I was younger, thinking that like the word atheist was something so bad, because like, again, coming from like a Christian background, thinking that that was something that was like not a good thing. And, again, like as I started to develop myself more, I started to realize that there were just different things that I wanted to believe in myself, and different people that I experienced that I was like, these are still good people. Like we're all still good people, but we have different beliefs. And I think that as we kind of have this lens of religion, as we have these conversations, I think a lot of times those lenses can cloud us from seeing that we're just interacting with other humans that want to have understanding. As I started moving away from the church, actually going to church, I did start to, like question these things more. And I started to kind of expand different beliefs. I started to look into different religions and started to, try to figure out like what is the truth, like what is the truth of, our lives and in existence and things like that. I was on a journey to really discover what things were. And I think that as we give ourselves that space to discover it, and whether it's discovering it within your own faith, like you can discover the depths of your own faith as you kind of journey into that more, but allow yourself that space to do that. And I think that as we open ourselves up to hearing these other conversations that people have, these other religions and those beliefs that people have, it can expand our understanding of just what we believe in life. Like I don't necessarily describe myself as being Christian, or like associate with like a specific religion, although I still do hold many values that come from my upbringing, my understanding as, like growing up Christian. And but there are also like beliefs within like Buddhism that like I started to hold on to as well. And something that, I started to I guess realize and start to create this kind of dynamic sense of just spirituality, I guess, within myself, is the idea that, as I started looking into these different religions, I started realizing there's a theme. There are so many themes within this, and there's a theme of connection, there's a theme of love, there's a theme of just, being kind to one another. And I think that, as we kind of look through all the other things and see the major themes within like these different texts or within these ideas, and the realization that, if we hold on to these, and like that can be something that's so amazing in itself, then we can come together on those values and know that we appreciate those values with one another. And no matter what belief we feel, we can still come together knowing that we still want love, we still want connection, we still want greater understanding. I mean, even scientists, like people that don't really believe in religion, they believe in science. Science is driven on greater understanding, wanting to understand more. We are all seeking understanding, and whether you seek it through science, or you seek it through religion, or you seek it through spiritual growth, or whatever that journey is for you, it's a journey that is personal for you because it's your journey. And as we accept each other for the place in the journey that we're on, we can realize that again, we're all striving just towards that understanding, that greater understanding, that wondering of what this is. Like again, like even as I started moving away from the church, I had a car accident in my junior year of college, and I flipped my Jeep twice. And I was lucky to be alive, and there was a bumper sticker that I saw like vividly. I'm not sure why it stood out to me, but it was a bumper sticker that I saw that said, it was something about, something about God and God's love and something like that. And then I take the exit, like that's the last car that I see. I take this exit, and then I overcorrect myself, I flip my Jeep twice, and somehow I come out with only a scratch. Now, of course, like I'm traumatized from this incident, and there was just like a lot of feeling that overwhelmed me, and I found myself praying, and this is something I hadn't done in years. And it was something that it was very just interesting for me. And I actually like went through this period where I like started doing this youth group, and I was like just very, I was holding on. I wanted to hold on to something that was something bigger than me, that like I can really just hold on to. And in that moment, it was like something that, I'm not really sure how to even explain it, but it made me realize that no matter where we are, there are times that we seek just something to hold on to that creates meaning in everything. As you think about 12-step programs, I'm not sure if any of you have heard of 12-step programs, but they're usually associated with, different addictions, and mostly alcohol addiction. But, there are many different 12-step programs, but a lot of them are based in religion. This kind of having or relinquishing control over the things that, like you can't control, relinquishing power over the things that you can't control. And I think that there's a lot of that's based in religion, because there are so many things in life that we can't control. They're just things that happen. And I think that as we go through life, that holding on to something bigger than ourselves, some kind of meaning behind it all, some kind of understanding that we haven't yet understood, I think that kind of holding on to that idea is what kind of keeps everything together, keeps us kind of sane, keeps us, it allows us to hold on to something when nothing else makes sense. And when whatever we turn to for that grounding, whether again it's science or religion or whatever it is, like we can hold on to the understanding that we're going through this, and that there are other people that are also going through this. So as we think about this idea of religion, it's not something that, I mean, it's a hard topic because we haven't been able to find the words to speak about it. We haven't had it enough to find the words to speak about it. I've spoken about this many times where there are topics that you send in and I love it every single time it happens, but where I don't know how to speak about it. And that means I just haven't had the conversation enough. When we can't find the words to speak about certain things, it's because we haven't spoken about it enough. And the fact that religion being so pervasive and so big within all of our lives and within the world, like, for this to be a hard conversation to have, like, it makes it very unsettling, just like the environment that we live in, for that to be the case. But I think it comes out of the fact that we are stuck on trying to find out who's right, but we don't know who's right. No one knows truly who is right. And if someone does tell you who's right, I think that they may be mistaken. But even if they are truthful and whatever they say is the truth for what life really is, truths are relative. So we have to meet each other where our truths are. So it's not for us to expound any truths on other people if they're not willing to, if they don't want to listen to that. Like, it's not our place to expound those beliefs, but we can meet people where they are. We can listen to people. And something I like to think about is, like, just because someone speaks their own beliefs doesn't mean that we have to accept them. It's kind of like if you're infatuated with someone and you're, like, really just in love with someone, and then someone else tries to, like, hit on you or something like that. They can try all they want to, but no matter what, you're still interested in something else. You're still interested in someone else. And no matter how hard they try, like, you're going to stand your ground. And I think the same thing happens with things that we truly believe in, things that we truly feel passionate for. No matter what other people say, we can appreciate, like, I thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you for, I'm truly flattered, but no thank you, and we can be there and listen and still have these conversations without, having tempers getting risen. But it's only until we realize that we can still believe the things that we believe and still have those conversations. So as I kind of think about this idea of religion and kind of try to wrap all this up together, we kind of need to have these conversations more so they can become just more regular, so we can expand our understanding of just what really is. Because again, we're all searching for the same thing. So why not, try to come together and say, what really is life? Can we come together and try to find some kind of understanding? Can our different beliefs shed some light on what, really is? I think that, we can share ideas, we can share thoughts, and we can be with one another. And that only expands our knowledge further. That only expands us as humans further. So, let's have these conversations and take out that aspect of who's right and who's wrong. And let's focus on the underlying things of, what does it mean, and how can we grow closer to that understanding with each other. So yeah, that's kind of really all I have to say about that. I wanted to make this something where I can speak about it and kind of just have it to where, like, it's not going to offend someone. I feel like the conversation is possible where we can speak about things and not have it offend people or feel as though, like, if there is misknowledge or miscommunication about something, then we can feel comfortable enough, shedding light on whatever misconception that is or whatever idea that's being misspread or misunderstood. I think that that's part of what a conversation is. It's maybe sometimes shedding light on ignorance. And ignorance isn't a bad thing, but it's when we stay in ignorance, when we choose ignorance over knowledge, over, just something else. And I'm not saying that, like, people willingly choose ignorance, because there are many things that I'm ignorant about. There are many things that we're all ignorant about. Things that we don't know is something that you're ignorant about. So as we gain more knowledge, as we speak to more people, we can shed light on some of that ignorance and start to become more knowledgeable, become more, just more well-rounded and more knowledgeable human beings. But again, that's all I really have for this episode. If you have any other thoughts or ideas or anything that you'd like to send in, you can send those to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the social media pages: Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, or Facebook, Everything Under the Sun with Ty. And that's all I got. Love you all, and I will see you next time.